In this lesson, we're going to start talking about metric system and changing units. What you need to know for this course is to be able to convert between any of these units. So that's what you need to focus on in the practice. And in this lesson, we'll do the first three practice, and then we'll come back for the next lesson to do the last three. We're just going to quickly scan these first two pages. Here's the list of all the base units in the SI system. You should be familiar with these already. Maybe not candela. Mole, unless you're taking chemistry, might not be familiar, but the other five for sure. We're going to focus definitely on meters, grams, seconds, maybe some amperes, possibly Kelvin, but you'll notice that it doesn't matter which we're talking about because it's the prefixes that we really work with. So that brings us to the prefixes, and again, you've seen these before. We use these if we're measuring a big or a small quantity because we want to be able to express using a power of 10 but not need to write it. So instead of writing 1,000 meters, we write 1 kilometer. Instead of writing 0.1 liters, we write 10 centiliters. So things like that, just to make them more manageable numbers. Area and volume also exist, and area we just square units, and volume we just cube units. So that's here, squaring and cubing the respective units. So moving on then, we get a neat relationship here of the liter. By definition, the liter is 1 decimeter cubed. And if we just work through these steps here, you'll notice we get this, which is a very important relationship that we do use, which says that 1 milliliter is the same as 1 cubic centimeter. So you definitely want to remember that. How you go about changing units? Well, there's lots of ways to do it. I'm going to do one way called conversion factors, and basically what it is multiplying by 1. So we're going to figure out how to make 1 out of something and then multiply by that. Remember, multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything numerically, but it will let us change the units. And basically we're canceling pieces, so that's what we're talking about in this little blurb here. So feel free to read your notes, ask any questions in class if you want, but I'm not going to talk any more about that right now. What we're going to do is just glance quickly at these. If you want to convert 50 milliliters to liters, then, well, you have 50 milliliters. You want to cancel milliliters, so we're going to put milliliters on the bottom. 1,000 milliliters is 1 liter, so the milliliters are canceled. We divide this by 1,000 and we changed it to liters. And that's basically how it's going to work. It works for time, distance, volume, it doesn't matter. Any of the base units can be converted using this. And the different prefixes you see we take care of with different conversion factors. So that all gets a little confusing, I know, and I'm going through it quickly. The last thing I'll point out then, before we start some practice, is the issue of a cubic or squared unit. So in this case, you'll notice when they're trying to cancel the cubic centimeter to get cubic meter, they use the regular centimeter meter conversion, but they have this cube up here. So because this is cubed, this whole term has to be cubed, and what happens is these cancel, and we get cubic meters for our final answer, which is what we wanted. Look through those, see if you can work them out. If not, let's just follow along with these first three here, and hopefully we'll make some sense of this. Before you start any conversions, I would suggest writing the prefixes. So if we have our base unit here, so this will be meters, grams, liters, whatever the base unit is, then we can go up in powers of 10 with decameter, hectometer, kilometer. Going down in units, we get decimeter, centimeter, milli. Now I'm saying meter, but it could be deciliter, centiliter, milliliter. The base unit that comes after the prefix is not really relevant. It's the prefix that causes the numbers to change. So we need to change 200 millimeters per second to meters per second. So the per second is going to stay. It's just the millimeters to meters we need to worry about. So we start with what we have, which is millimeters per second. And now we need to get rid of the millimeters. So in order to cancel it out, millimeters has to go on bottom. We want meters, so we'll put meters here. We're always going to work through the base unit. So that's with no prefix. So we're always going to start by going to that and then moving it again if necessary. In this case, we want the base unit, so we only need to move it once. Now, what you want to do is pick out of meters and millimeters which is biggest. So meters here is biggest, so we'll start with one of those. In 1 meter, how many millimeters do we have? Well, we're moving here by powers of 10, so we're going to have 10, 100, 1,000, or 10 to the power of 3. So 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters. Millimeters cancel. We take 200 divided by 1,000 then. All the numbers on top, all the numbers on bottom. And the units will be meters left up top and seconds left on bottom, meaning we get 0.2 meters per second. So that's a conversion factor. This here is really equal to 1, because in 1 meter there is 1,000 millimeters. These are the same thing. That's why all we did was change the units, not the value. Let's try another one. 1.32 kilometers per hour, and we want to change it to centimeters per minute. So the first thing is we need to get rid of kilometers to centimeters. So first we go to the base unit. So we need to get rid of kilometers, so it goes on bottom, so they cancel. Base unit is meters, so no prefix. Out of these two, the biggest is kilometer, because the prefix is above the base here. So 1 kilometer is 1, 2, 3, so 10 to the 3 is 1,000 meters. And that'll give us meters. Now, we don't want meters, we want centimeters, so we will need to cancel meters. It goes on bottom. Centimeters will come up top. And from meters to centimeters is 1, 2, so 10 to the 2, which is 100. So 1 meter is 100 centimeters. Now, that takes care of the centimeters. Now we need minutes. So we have hours. We need to cancel hours, so it'll go on top. We need to finish with minutes, so it goes on bottom. What do we know about hours and minutes? Well, we know in 1 hour, there's 60 minutes. So if we stick all these together now, we're going to take 1.32 multiplied by 1,000, multiplied by 100, and then multiplied by 1, that's across the top. And we're going to divide it then by 1 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 60. And the units, well, let's see, kilometers and kilometers cancel, meters and meters cancel, hours and hours cancel, and we're left with centimeters per minute, which is what we were asked for. So centimeters per minute. And when we multiply that all out, it gives us 2,200 centimeters per minute. Rather than go ahead and do the third example here, I'm going to stop. I would turn the video off, go do these two again on your own, make sure you understand the idea of the conversion factors. The next video we'll do 3, 4, 5, and 6, and hopefully you'll have a good handle then on doing the different types, because the next 4 have a squared, a cubic unit, a little bit more challenging, but we're doing them exactly the same way. So we'll see you in the next lesson.